Hi, it's Allie. I'm here in my backyard, and I've been thinking as this situation has seemingly getting worse, time is still going on, even though we don't necessarily feel like it is. We feel like time is stopping and we're not able to get out and do stuff, but time is still going on. The seasons are still changing, and this week is still Holy Week. That week within our church where we have a lot going on, usually. And it's still going on, just not the way we usually celebrate it. The very first of those is Passover. Even though that's not something that we usually celebrate within the Christian church, it's still a holiday that's very important to this time of year. It's that celebration of the Passover of the angel of death when the Hebrews were enslaved in Egypt. It's the reason that Jesus was going to Jerusalem. What was drawing him and the disciples at that time of year. But Passover, like I said, it's that we all know the story of the angel of death passing over as the final plague before the Hebrews were released from slavery. It's very much like what we're going through now, though, in some ways. We've been kind of plagued in the last several years by, well, probably longer than several years, but by various things. Social media, work, all these things that are bombarding us and kind of enslaving us in our own lives and trapping us in our own lives. And now we're suddenly confined, just as those Hebrews were confined that night or that time, as that angel of death passed over. They were hunkered down, they were sheltering in place in their own homes, praying for the safety of family and friends, for loved ones outside of their home, that they were going to be okay. They prayed for themselves, that they would be okay, that this would pass over, and whatever happened would be the right thing for them. And the same is true for us. We're kind of hunkering down and sheltering in place through this period. We're staying indoors. We're doing those things that we need to do to let this pass over us. Instead of painting our doors with the blood of a sacrificed lamb like the ancient Hebrews did, we have other things that are kind of those markers, ways that we can let this pass over us. We have masks and hand sanitizers and social distancing. Those are kind of our marks, the way that the virus knows to pass over us, that we're being safe and doing what we're supposed to be doing, as long as we're doing these things and doing them the way that we're supposed to be doing them. They are the tools and the gifts that God has given to us, just as God gave the blood on the doorway to the ancient Hebrews as the sign. We need to continue to do those things. I know I sound like everybody else, but as we do, we can remember that in this week, that this is our Passover. This is what we can do to protect ourselves. What we can do to not get sick from this disease that's going around, this virus. So it's a blessing in a lot of ways that we have these, even though masks are a pain and they're hard to get, we can still make them. Even though it's a pain to wash our hands and sanitize constantly, it's still a gift and a blessing to us, that those are things that we can do. We are able to do that. We are able to still be connected through social media, through phone calls, through texting, through all these different forms, even though we're not right there with each other physically. We can still see each other. We can Zoom and FaceTime. So we can still see each other. We can still be connected, even if we're not connected. And that's how we can still be the church, even through this time of Passover and through this Holy Week. I hope that this adds some blessing and some perspective to this time, to this week, even though it is kind of weird and different and not what we would normally see and do. Shalom, blessings, and a 6-foot hug. Thank you.